4,
3. What's up, people? Welcome to my show where I bring in different people from different career fields to showcase their talents and specialties to the world. Today I have with me Beverly's own Miss Bella. Miss Bella is a respectable and wonderful fashion teacher who goes above and beyond for her students and for the school. So come on up, Miss Bella.
That's so sweet. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you for being here today.
Anytime. And thank you for the introduction. That's crazy. That was really nice.
Of course. So before we begin, how's everything going? We have winter break coming up, so you got any plans?
I don't have any. I'm not going anywhere, but I'm excited. I'm excited to just have a break. I know you are too.
I am.
Yeah, because it seems like it's been a very long first semester, but yeah, I'm ready for a break.
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
All right, let's get started. So my first question for you is, if I were to meet you in high school, what was your personality like back then?
I was outgoing. I was really outgoing. I was cheerleader. I ran track. Just outgoing. I think I'm the same as I was in high school. So I've always been the same person all the time. So I guess how I am now.
What was your favorite thing back in high school?
To dance. I used to go out all the time. Me and my sisters and my friends. So anytime there was a party, we were there. That was my favorite thing to do. Like on my free time. But as far as school, like I was such a big sports person. I was really into cheerleading and track, and so that was just my thing when I was in school.
You know, it's funny you say that because my mom was a cheerleader back in high school. So I mean, when I hear people talk about how they were cheerleaders in high school,
yeah.
I feel like I can make the connection with that person because
that's what your mom did.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And when did you first get introduced to fashion?
Oh, gosh. I got introduced to fashion, I was, I think, 8 maybe. I started modeling when I was a little kid, and then that's how I got into it. My mom got me into modeling. I started modeling when I was a little kid. I continued modeling up until I was in my late 20s. So that's how I got introduced.
So before you became an educator, what was your career field? Like, did you model for runway shows?
My career, I would have liked for my career to be a model, but I never got as tall as I wanted to be. But I did get to do some shows. I got casted. I've done shows in New York and here when I was little. Did a lot of print. But as far as a career, I did not expect to be a teacher. I never went to school. If somebody would ask me when I was in my 20s, you're going to be a teacher? I would be like, oh, heck no. I'm not going to do that. That is not my thing. But now I teach. But before, I just worked in the field as a designer for different companies, and I started my own brand.
Wow. Can you elaborate on the brand that you started, how you got it started,
okay,
and what your brand is all about?
Well, I started my brand after graduating. I had been working for some years, but when I went to school, I decided I wanted to design denim. So that's all that I've ever really wanted to do. When I decided I was going to be a designer, I was like, I'm going to design denim. So I designed denim for a lot of big companies: Seven, For Mankind, Joie. Oh my gosh, it goes on. Let me see. I can just name them. I probably designed for almost every brand, denim brand. And then in 2015, I have had an opportunity to show at New York Fashion Week. So let me just go back a little bit. In 2015, up until the time, when I was in school, up until the time I graduated, after school, after college, I had my own brand. I was just designing gowns and evening wear and things like that. And so I was invited because of that. Because that's what I was doing. And so I just thought, when I first started my business, I was telling my mom, I was like, I'm not going to do denim. I really want to do gowns. I want to do like couture and all that. And then that was the first time. I went to New York Fashion Week the first time in 2015. And then I was invited back, but I didn't go back until 2017. So my mom was like, Bella, you need to put some jeans in there. That's what you've been doing. That's what you do. So I put jeans in there, and they just took off. Everybody wanted them. all the models was like, oh my gosh, I want these. And I'm a denim designer, so of course that's what took off. So then I just started a denim brand, and I've been having it now since 2017. I officially launched it in 2017.
It's still going even now as your teacher?
I just do direct to consumer, and so most people have been actually ordering everything directly from our website. And now I'm in the process of trying to get into bigger stores. I'm doing a collaboration with Shein right now. That's coming out in the spring. So my company and them, and trying to get into bigger stores like Nordstrom's and Bloomies, and so that's what I'm doing right now.
Sounds very good. And you said you wanted to do gowns instead of jeans, but then you ended up doing jeans. So
that's so crazy.
How come you took that route? And, I do love jeans myself. It's the number one thing I love to wear.
Yep.
But how come you ended up doing jeans instead of gowns like you wanted to?
I did that for fun. So to do a couture gown, you have to do it from, scratch. So you start on a dress form. It doesn't have a pattern. You have to create your pattern. So I just loved that process of doing it. Denim, my mom used to always wear designer denim and stuff like that when I was little. So I just kind of got into it when I was a kid and she was younger. And I love denim. I love the construction. I love to do washes. I love that. But I really thought I would do more couture because that was my thing. I love, when he was still alive, Alexander McQueen. And that was just what I thought that I would eventually do. But no, I've been in denim the whole time for the most part. And that's okay.
Yeah, that just shows, one of the things I've been taught is that you think you'll do something in life, something in particular, but life can take you to unexpected, to things and unexpected turns.
And that's true. And a lot of times, whatever you're good at, it's going to shine through anyway. So my mom, even the first time I went to New York Fashion Week, was like, you need to put some jeans. I was like, Mom, no, I don't want to do that. I just want to do gowns and whatever. And she was right. So it's just that's my thing. That's just what I'm good at. So that's what everybody gravitated to, I guess.
And that just shows too how inspirational parents can be, hopefully. And you may not agree with them. They may not always be correct sometimes, but just have an open mind and listen to them, because overall they've experienced a lot more than you have. Even when you become an adult, you have the same mindset that they do, but it's still important to listen to them as adults. Absolutely.
I still listen to my mom to this day. My mom treats me like I'm still 16 though, but yeah. She thinks she's always going to tell me what to do and all, but I still give her that. That's because my mom enjoyed being a mom, and I'm a mom now, and I love being a mom, so I get it. Because we're both moms, so I get it. I just get it.
And how many children do you have?
I have 3. 3 boys, no girls. So sad. I wanted a girl so bad, but I never had any girls. Just 3 boys.
And what made you want to become a parent?
You know what? I think I'm kind of old school when it comes to that. It's because I was raised, my grandmother was really involved. I have a Jamaican background, so that's just, my grandmother on my mom's side is Jamaican. And so it's just it's all about family and all that stuff. And I think I always just was ready to, always thinking about when I get big, I'm going to be a mom, and I play with baby dolls. I don't know. I think that was just something that I just always knew I was going to do, was be a mom. I don't know. A lot of girls are that way, though. A lot of girls are that way.
Yeah, see, with me as a guy, I'm the opposite, because even though I'm a teenager, I'm kind of predicting in my mind what could happen as an adult, and there's a lot of things that are going to happen that I'm not prepared for yet. But the number one thing that's still in my mind is, do I want to become a parent? And if I do, I wouldn't want to do it until much later in life. My late 40s, because my mom has always told me that it's better to have kids later in life when because late 40s, early 50s, you're at that age where you don't want to do much. And hopefully at that point, you've established your career, you're bringing in income.
Don't wait till you're 50.
Okay.
because you're not going to want to be chasing a baby at 50 years old.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just telling you.
Okay.
But wait until late 30s, closer to 40. Like, yeah, that's the best time to start having kids, because you've experienced things. You've experienced life. You understand what life is about. If you have kids, I always say, because I had my kids young. I got married when I was 22. And so it's just like you're growing up and your kids are growing up at the same time. Like at 22, you're not an adult. You still have a different mindset. And so I tell my kids that too. Like, just wait. Because all that will come to you. But, you know, just you have to be patient and make sure, like you said, have your career, understand where you're going in life before you become a parent. Because if you don't know where you're going as a parent before you become a parent, then it's just like the blind leading the blind. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, I feel like your mom and I are kind of related, because that's the same thing my mom has told me.
Yeah. So, but that's just good parenting.
Yeah.
You know, I learned it the hard way. I was ready to get married. I was like, I'm going to get married, and I think I met my guy, and I got married, and then we're divorced now. So I get where my mom was coming from. Like, take your time, do everything that you're supposed to do as a young adult, and enjoy life. Because I can't look back and say, oh, I remember I was in the club, and I was a mom. I love that. I love being a mom, but I think that everybody should experience that. So take your time.
Yeah. And now I want to dive into why you chose to become an educator. You said you weren't expecting it, but so first of all, when did you start, and why did you start?
I actually started let me go back. Well, high school around the pandemic, but I started teaching college first. So I went back and started teaching at FITM, where I got my fashion design degree. And I've been teaching there, and then when the pandemic hit and everything started to close down or whatever, before that, I was like, okay, I think I just want to concentrate on my business. And then it was an opportunity for me to go teach at a school in Torrance Unified School District. So I was like, okay, I'll do that. I'll keep working at FITM and whatever. And then the pandemic hit right after, and I was just like, well, I guess this is what I'm doing. And I just stuck with it. I enjoy it. I'm just as surprised as anybody else. I don't think I could teach like elementary school or middle school. I don't think so. But teaching high school is a lot like dealing with the kids at college, so it's easier. It was an easier transition.
And what have you enjoyed the most about Beverly so far as a teacher?
The kids, the students, most definitely. Even if it doesn't matter what's going on, because I'm a mom. I've been a mom for such a long time, but it's just like I guess the students gravitate toward me too. So I always tell everybody, like, I'm your black mom. So when they go to college, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna pop up at college, and you better tell them that's my mama. But just the kids, like, you guys bring me so much joy, and you guys are so innocent, and a lot of times, a lot of you guys just gravitate to me and confide in me, and I just think that's just because I'm an open book. But that's the best part to me. It is that, just knowing you guys and getting to know you guys.
Yeah, I do remember, we'll get to this later, but the CT showcase last year, we were rehearsing, and I was training to be a model, and you got mad at me one time, and you were like, boy, you're going to make me turn into a full-on black woman. So I could...
That is me.
Yeah, you definitely have those mother vibes. I mean, not just with your own kids, but even with us as well.
Yeah. I'm the same 100% of the time. Like, if you guys were to come to my house, it's the same vibe. I don't change for anything. I'm the same with my kids as I am with you guys. I'm the same person all the time. All the time. It doesn't matter. So I do give that. I give off mother vibes, but I think it's because I didn't train to be a teacher. Like, teachers are teachers. Like, that's what they really want to do. But I think almost my little sister's a teacher, by the way. She's an educator over in Santa Monica. And she acts like all the rest of the teachers that I know. I think that because I started doing later on in my career, and that's not what I want to do, my approach is different. That's what I mean. my approach to teaching is a little bit different than most teachers. So I think that's why I think I connect with you guys.
Yeah, and yesterday I did have Mr. G on, and I feel like he has that same approach as well. His approach is giving us the life skills as teenagers. He was like, don't get me wrong, the learning is important in the classroom, but it's just important for us as teenagers to have that teacher who not only does their job as an educator, but someone that you can confide in, and someone who will just teach you the basic life skills, because when you get out into the real world, even with a degree, even with the career that you have, you're going to interact with people, so you need those basic life skills. I feel like that's the most important thing.
Yeah, and I think also I have real life conversations with the students too, in my class, or anybody that comes in, even with like being an advisor for the BSU kids. Like I'm telling them, like, you guys, this is school, but this isn't real life. Like, you got to understand, when you leave here, it's a different game. The expectations are a little bit different. You know, it's just how society is. It's not that all of a sudden you get out and you got to be a grown up. It's just like that's what society expects. And a lot of times when you graduate from high school, like I was 17 when I graduated high school. Most kids are 17. You're not ready for real life experiences. I always push, like I tell kids, even if you don't want to go to college, just go so that you can understand what it's like to be out there on your own. Because mommy and daddy's not going to call you and say, get them to go to college. Get them to go to class. You have to do all those things on your own. And so I think that's an important aspect of being a teacher. I would say, I didn't have a teacher that did those things with me. Yeah. I did it when I went to school. I didn't. It was just like, you're a student, stay in a child's place. But then when I got out there, I'm like, you want me to stay in a child's place, but all these people out here in society want me to be an adult. And just, it's like being thrown to the wolves. So I think that in high school, that is something that we should be getting students ready for the real world, because it'll chew you up and spit you out if you're not ready for it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, and and I want to talk about the CTE showcase. So to the people that are watching here at Beverly, every year in May before the end of the school year, we have a CTE showcase for not only for this class, media, and of course fashion. It showcases MSA, robotics, business and finance, and of course culinary. So Ms. Bella, last year our CTE showcase for fashion was the 1930s era with the Prohibition era. Yeah. So I wanted to get some insight on what the theme is this year.
Okay, so drum roll. This year we are doing 50 years of hip hop.
Wow.
We're celebrating 50 years of hip hop. So it's going to be so much fun. We're going to be able to let loose and have a good time. I have some really, really, really cool ideas I want for it. All the students, especially advanced, not intro, but my advanced students, they're already making garments for the show. So they've already got samples ready. They haven't gotten like the actual garments ready, but they're already doing their samples. So it's just every year I try to make it grander and bigger, more fun. This year I think it's really going to be fun.
Yeah, hip hop is my thing. Some rappers that I like are Ice Cube. I like Tip Harris, and I especially liked his movie ATL and the end credits.
I actually used to style TIP's wife.
Really?
T.I.'s wife, I did.
Yeah.
Tiny. Yep. So they are cool people. I grew up on hip hop, so that's all I know. Even to this day, like that's all I know. So it's just gotta like. I was born when hip-hop was coming into fruition. So that's all that I know. That's just like regular music for me. So my mom's generation before, they don't get it. I get it. And then you guys take it. You guys are taking it and making it evolve to another level. But that's all I know. So it's going to be so much fun. And you're going to come back to host.
Oh, yes. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. So it's going to be a good time.
And this is especially... because a lot of kids that I'm surrounded with, and I'm sure teachers understand this as well, that's something kids are into. I'm gonna be real, I'm not really into the hip hop now, like this year, but the old school hip hop, like Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, Tip Harris.
The 90s, 2000s and the 90s, yeah. Okay, that's my era. That's my era, that's all that I listen to. But we're going to go all the way back. Like, we're going to go back to the 80s.
Wow.
And have break dancers and to open the show and, like, make it look like we're in the subway in New York, because that's where I was born. That's where it came from. So that's how it's going to be. It's going to be really fun. It's going to be fun.
Wow, I'm looking forward to it. Thank you for telling me about the CT showcase.
And I can't wait until everybody see you host it. It's going to be great.
Yeah. And then I have my last two questions for you. So what advice would you give to teenagers that you wish you knew when you were in high school?
What did I wish? I wish that I knew that it's important to be accountable. Like, you really have to be accountable for yourself. Now, I'm not talking about as far as, like, having integrity and all that stuff. Integrity is that's something that you learn little growing up, and that's just something that you kind of, you're grounded in integrity if you have integrity. But just being accountable for everything that I do, everything that I say, because as I've evolved as a person, I understand that, you know, sometimes you can say things, and sometimes you can say a word and it'll hurt a person worse than hitting them in the stomach, you know?
Yeah.
So just understanding that you have to be accountable, and then you have to also think about other people. Think about what you're going to do, how it's going to affect other people. That comes with maturity, you know? But I just think that I know that my mom taught that. My mom preached that to me all the time. My dad, I had my mom and my dad in the house. And so my mom, my dad, and my grandmother's. But as a kid, you're like, oh, Mom, be quiet. Dad, please, come on. I am accountable. I picked up my clothes off the floor. What do you mean? But just like, no, just looking at it from a larger, going deeper, you know. So just being accountable for you, who you are, and understanding that what you do, it does affect other people. So that's just one thing that, you know, I would have been more aware of when I was younger.
Yeah, that's something I've even done myself, and pretty majority of teenagers. And there was a security guard, Anthony, who used to work here, who was such a lovely guy.
I know.
Yeah, he was telling me himself that the reason he took this job is because he's all about guiding teenagers in the right direction. And he was like, even though some of them, what they take from one ear goes out the other, he said that doesn't stop him, because we are at that age where it's like, you know, we know everything, and it's like we think we know how to handle things, but we actually don't, because we're the level that we're at right now. It's like you said earlier, it's a whole different game once you get out into the real world, and you have to handle things on your own, and it can be hard. It
is. It could be hard, and then you know, but everybody's got to learn life lessons. But it's just understanding yourself. And the second thing that I would say is knowing who I am. Knowing who I am, because it was just like, so I'll give you, for instance, when I was younger, I told my mom, I was like, I want to be a designer. She's like, girl, no, you're going to be a nurse. And I went to school. I was going to school for nursing. Can you imagine me being a nurse? I'll be like Nurse Ratched or something, like, not me being the nurse. That would be funny. I play way too much for that. Like, I'm very, like, you know, like, that just is not me. And just not being able to say, hey, Mom, this is not really what I want to do. You know, so understanding who I am and how I feel and what I knew about myself was valid. So as you get older, especially when you're getting close to 17, 18, I'm going to give you this advice, and I tell a lot of students this: follow your heart. Follow your heart, because when you get older, work should not be work. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, when I come here, it's not like, it's like playtime for me. Like, everybody makes me laugh. I have a good time. It's not like I'm getting out of bed like, oh my gosh, I got to go back to work. I don't mind it. So just follow your heart, because even if someone tells you there's no money in it, if you follow your heart, you're going to make money.
Amen to that.
You're going to make the money. So, yeah.
And my last question for you is, what's the most important thing that you've learned in life? The number one most important thing.
The number one most important thing I've learned is having a spiritual connection to something. That understanding there is something bigger than me out here in the world. That is, I'm not just out here wandering around, and I cannot make the decisions for my life just thinking I'm going to do myself. Meaning, saying that there is something larger than me that's guiding me. And I just know that, by having a spiritual connection, it grounds me too. It's humbled me. It's made me see people's, their wants, their desires. They're taking people's feelings more valid. Like, just, that's the biggest lesson I've learned. It's just understanding that it's not about me, and I don't run the world, and the world doesn't revolve around me. So having that spiritual connection to something larger than me, it's humbling when you think about it. And so that, I guess in this chapter of my life, that's really what's guiding me to that spiritual connection. Be it God or the universe, whatever you believe. I don't I don't shun anybody or judge anybody based on what they believe, but you should have some type of connection to what's larger than you. So that's my biggest lesson, because it's changed my whole way of thinking. It's changed my outlook. It's made me be more humble. It's actually pulled more great things have gravitated toward me, because I understand there's something bigger than me out there. And so that's my biggest lesson that I've learned, is just having some type of spiritual connection and just understanding that you don't really have that much control over your life.
Yeah, I can relate to that too. That's the most important thing that I've learned as well, is that same spiritual connection, just just looking up to it and just understanding that, I'm not the one who controls this world. The world doesn't revolve around me. There is someone greater than me and greater than all of us that's in control of this. So, my most important thing is just looking up to that spiritual connection and just taking time to, just the number one thing I like about the spiritual connection is, out of anybody, even your own parents, your own family, you get to check in with that person and just confide to them what you're going through, and you will hear them, and they will help you. And,
absolutely.
And that's what gets you the most through life, because they are there in your most low places, and that's what helps you rise to the top of the mountain. That's the true definition of success. Not only, that's how you get success. I mean, the most successful people, even athletes, they made it to the top through struggles and through failures. That's something that I've learned to being a successful person. Yep,
and and this is my closing thought. It's not about what you've gone through. It's not about the situation, but it's how you come out of it.
Exactly.
So did you grow from it? And then with having that spiritual connection, you have to understand that if you don't grow from it, you're going to keep doing it over and over. So who wants to keep on being in this revolving door and they can't ever get out? So you just have to understand that it's not the situation. It's, did you learn from it? What did you get from it? Are you a better person from it? And that's the big thing with having that spiritual connection, because then you understand, you see things a little bit different, Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's been a privilege having you as a
Thank
guest,
you.
And it's been a privilege being a host for your class. I look forward to doing it again.
I do too.
This year,
I do too.
And like I said, you're a respectable and wonderful person. So
thank you. And you're an absolutely just amazing young man. And I've been seeing you since you were when you first came. I remember when I saw you, was it this year or last year? I was like, oh my gosh, you've grown so much. So that's another thing I love. Like, I love to see you guys grow. It's almost like when I first see you guys, you're babies, and then all of a sudden you're graduating and you're young men and young women. But you're an amazing young man, and you just keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, that's it.
Thank you. That was fun. Thank you. Give me a hug. Oh.
I'm glad you liked it.
Yes, I love your show. Look, do you have your show on YouTube?
Oh yeah, the one with Mr.